All right, so today we're taking a deep dive, into Brunei, Jerusalem,
Oh, yeah.
the abode of peace.
Okay.
It's this Southeast Asian nation, right? And it's on the island of Borneo.
Mm-hmm.
So you sent us this podcast script as a starting point.
Right.
It gives kind of a first glance at the country.
Yeah.
And our goal is to really dig deeper
Okay, cool.
into what makes Brunei so unique.
Sounds good.
We want to give you a clear picture
Okay.
of Brunei, like a captivating understanding,
Uh-huh.
and we're going to cover everything, like the geography,
Okay.
how it's governed, the culture,
Mm-hmm.
the nature, even some of their culinary highlights.
Oh, wow. That's great.
So, yeah, it's a lot to cover.
And excited.
It is,
It's a really interesting country.
yeah.
It's small geographically,
Okay.
but it's got like a really interesting mix of ancient traditions mixed with modern, the complexities of the modern world.
Yeah.
I think as we kind of go through this, we're going to see how these different parts of Brunei like work together to create, a national identity.
It's like a tapestry almost, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So let's start with location.
Okay.
Where exactly is Brunei?
Right.
I know it's on the northern coast of Borneo,
Right. It is.
And it's surrounded by Malaya
Mm-hmm.
and the South China Sea,
Yeah, you got it.
if you look at a map.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of size,
Yeah.
it's just over 700 square kilometers,
Okay.
which doesn't sound huge,
Not enormous, no.
but what's packed into that space,
Right.
that's what we're really interested in.
Absolutely. And I think
Yeah.
its location being where it is
Mhm.
has definitely impacted, its history and
Right.
cultural exchanges
Okay.
with that region.
Yeah, it's all about, it's not about size. It's
Right.
about, what's there
Exactly.
and, the richness of the history
Mm-hmm. The depth of the culture.
and the people.
Yeah, and how they shaped, their environment.
Yeah, exactly.
Several times.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Speaking of shaping things,
Okay.
let's talk about how Brunei is governed.
Right?
The script that you sent
Mm-hmm.
describes it as an absolute monarchy
Yes.
under Sultan Hassan al-Bolkiah.
That's right.
And it's pretty remarkable.
Yeah.
He's one of the world's longest reigning monarchs.
Mm-hmm.
It makes you think about, like, when you have that consistency
Right.
of leadership,
Yeah, for such a long time.
how does that shape the nation?
That's a good question.
Beyond just the, day-to-day governing.
Yeah, I think that's one of the
Yep.
key points here.
Huh.
And this continuity probably creates, a strong sense of national identity,
Right.
maybe some stability,
Yeah.
in terms of long-term planning and policies and things like that.
Mhm.
But it makes you think about the relationship between the ruler and the people
Yeah.
and how that might shape, social norms
Yeah.
and what people expect
Right.
in ways that we don't see in other systems
Yeah.
where leadership changes more frequently.
That's really interesting.
Yeah. What struck you?
Yeah, what really stood out to me
Yeah.
was just the length of the reign.
Right.
It's just amazing. Like, how do you maintain tradition? How
Yeah.
do you see it evolve over such a long period of time?
Right. And how does that then,
Yeah.
work with modernization and things like that?
Yeah. Yeah, and then you think about, like, how this stability has probably played a role
Oh, absolutely.
in Brunei's economic development,
Yeah.
which seems to be heavily tied to its oil and gas reserves.
Yeah. Yeah.
The script that you sent over
Mm-hmm.
makes it clear
Yeah.
that this wealth has been, like, fundamental.
It's been key
Yeah.
for their development.
Yeah.
I mean, the revenue that they get from,
Mhm.
these natural resources had
Yeah.
allowed them to, develop nationally,
Mhm.
particularly like infrastructure.
Okay.
And, social welfare programs,
Right.
things like that.
Yeah, and it makes you think
Yeah.
about how a nation that's so reliant
Mhm.
on these resources plans for the future,
Right.
because they are finite.
They are. Yeah,
So
absolutely.
it's, how do they navigate
Yeah, it's a good
the
question.
global economy?
Mhm.
And did your sources offer any insights into that?
Well, they did touch on the fact that they have a high standard of living, which
Right.
makes sense given,
Mhm.
the wealth from oil and gas.
Right.
But yeah, I think long term it does
Yeah.
raise questions about,
Yeah.
diversification and how sustainable that is.
Right. Okay. Um,
Yeah.
so let's switch gears a little bit and
Okay.
talk about the cultural heart of Brunei.
All right.
The script you sent really highlights
Mm-hmm.
the deep roots in the Malay traditions.
Yes.
And it also talks about the strong influence of Islam,
Right.
which is the official religion.
Mm-hmm.
And it feels like this blend
Yeah.
must create a really distinctive cultural identity.
It does. It's not just, a historical influence.
Okay.
It's like interwoven into their daily life.
Yeah.
Emphasis on community,
Yeah.
respect for elders. the central role of economic values
Okay.
probably shapes everything from
Okay.
how they interact with each other
Right.
to, legal frameworks. And
Interesting.
even like the hospitality
Mhm.
that people talk about when
Mhm.
they describe Bruneian culture,
Right.
it's a direct reflection of these values.
So when you picture Brunei, like in your mind,
Yeah.
one of the first images that comes to mind
Hmm.
has to be the Sultan Omar Ali Saifuddin Mosque.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I mean, the description in your script is amazing.
Yeah.
It's this incredible Islamic architecture,
Yeah.
and it's sitting on an artificial lagoon.
It's through.
It has a golden dome and marble minarets,
Stunning.
and it even mentions it's especially beautiful at sunset.
Yeah.
So it sounds like it's more than just a place of worship.
Oh, it definitely is. It's like
But
a visual representation
Mhm.
of their Islamic identity and
Mhm.
a symbol of their architectural heritage.
Right.
And I think putting it on the lagoon adds to that spiritual significance. It
Yeah.
creates like this visual harmony.
Hmm.
It's really striking.
Yeah, it makes you think about like the intention
Right.
behind that design.
Like, what message are they trying to convey?
Yeah, exactly. Like, what are they trying to say?
Yeah.
I think it speaks to a sense of serenity
Mhm.
and grandeur.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So another image that I think of when I
Yeah.
hear Brunei
Yeah.
is Kampong Ayer,
Oh, yeah.
the world's largest water village.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, this whole concept is fascinating. The whole community
Yeah.
living in stilled houses connected by walkways
Mm-hmm.
over the Brunei River.
It's incredible.
And families have lived there for generations.
That's amazing. Yeah.
The script calls it the Venice of the East.
Right.
So what's the story behind this place?
Well, I think what's remarkable is how long it's been there
Right.
and how it's adapted over time.
Mm-hmm.
It's a real testament to human ingenuity,
Yeah.
like how they utilize the environment.
Yeah.
It's not just some historical thing, it's a vibrant community.
Okay.
They have their own infrastructure, schools, mosques.
Oh, wow.
It's amazing.
So it's like a real functioning community.
It is, yeah.
And the Venice of the East, it
Yeah.
captures the charm, but it's
Mhm.
also got its own distinct Bruneian character.
Absolutely.
Did the source mention how it's evolved over time?
Yeah, they talked about its resilience
Yeah.
and the fact that people have been living there
Mhm.
continuously for centuries.
Wow.
So that's pretty remarkable.
It is, and make you think about the social
Yeah.
structures and way of life
Exactly.
that would develop in a setting like that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears again.
Okay.
Talk about the natural side of Brunei.
All right.
Your script mentioned that over 70% of the country
Yeah.
is covered in pristine rainforests.
It's a lot.
That's huge.
Yeah, it's impressive.
That's a big commitment to preservation.
It shows that they're committed to,
Yeah.
environmental conservation
Right.
for sure.
And then there's Ulu Temburong National Park,
Oh, yeah.
the green jewel of Brunei.
Beautiful.
It sounds like a nature lover's paradise.
It does.
With trekking canopy walkways,
Mm-hmm.
amazing views,
Yeah.
a chance to see proboscis, monkeys, and hornbills.
Yeah, it's like a key ecotourism destination.
Oh, wow.
Because of the diverse ecosystems and
Yeah.
the unique wildlife, it makes you think about how they balance the economic benefits
Right.
of, these natural resources
Yeah.
with the need to preserve them.
With protecting them. Yeah.
Did your source talk about,
Yeah.
their conservation efforts?
Yeah, they did.
Okay.
And the role of ecotourism in their economy.
Interesting.
Yeah, it seems like they have a long-term vision
Okay.
for sustainability
Good.
alongside development.
Yeah, that's important.
Okay, let's move on to something that I think everybody loves food.
All right, I'm with you.
Bruneian food.
Yeah, tell me more.
Sounds amazing.
Okay.
It's this mix of Malay, Chinese, and Indian influences.
Mm-hmm.
So bold flavors, fresh ingredients.
That sounds delicious.
Yeah, the script highlighted a few dishes.
Okay.
First is ambugat,
Yes.
the national dish.
I've heard of this.
It's sago starch
Okay.
with this sticky consistency.
Yeah.
And you eat it with a bamboo fork
Oh, wow.
called a candas.
Interesting.
And you dip it in these flavorful sauces.
I'd love to try that.
It sounds like a really unique culinary experience.
It does. It's like you said, it's more than just a dish. It's
Mm.
like a cultural thing,
Yeah,
often
it's-
enjoyed, with other people
Mm.
communally.
Yeah.
And the way it's prepared
Right.
and eaten with the candas
Mhm.
is part of the tradition.
Oh,
And
yeah.
the different dipping sauces add all these layers of flavor
Right.
that reflect, the different influences on their cuisine.
It's like a story on a plate.
Exactly. It really speaks to, their
Yeah.
local palate and their customs.
Okay. Then there's nasi katok,
Okay.
rice fried chicken, and sambal.
Simple but delicious.
Yeah, the source says it's really popular.
Yeah, it probably is.
Sometimes those simple combinations
Right.
are the best.
They really are.
Like, you don't need a lot of fuss.
Exactly. Just
Yeah.
good quality ingredients.
Yeah. And then, of course, we can't forget the
Yeah.
that sweet, creamy pulled tea.
So
It's a
good.
favorite all across Southeast Asia.
Yeah, it's a classic.
The pulling process is really cool to watch.
Yeah, it's like an art form almost. It's not just
Right.
about cooling the tea. It's
Yeah.
all about, that frothy texture.
Right.
It creates like this really, special drink.
Yeah.
And I think it shows you the cultural connections
Yeah.
within Southeast Asia.
Okay, so moving on from food.
All right.
Let's talk about modern society in Brunei.
Okay.
The script mentions a high standard of living,
Yeah.
which makes sense with oil wealth,
Right.
but it also mentions free healthcare
Oh, wow.
and education for citizens,
That's amazing.
which is a real commitment to social welfare.
Yeah, those social provisions
Mhm.
really contribute, to the quality of life there.
Right.
And Bandar Seri Begawan,
Yeah, the capital.
yeah, it's the central hub for everything commerce administration,
Mhm.
cultural activities. It reflects their,
Hmm.
progress and development as a nation.
Yeah, and the script did touch on the
Mhm.
presence of strict laws
Okay.
influenced by Islamic values,
Right.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
There's a ban on alcohol sales
Mhm.
and a general respect for Islamic practices.
It's really important to understand,
Yeah.
the role of Islam in shaping their public life.
Right. It's part of their identity.
It's integral to, understanding their values and principles.
Right. Okay. So to bring it all together,
Okay.
why should someone visit Brunei?
Well,
The script paints it as a peaceful and safe destination.
mhm.
It's kind of off the beaten path.
A little bit,
Some of
yeah.
those big tourist crowds.
Right.
It offers, a really distinct range of experiences.
It does.
You've got the mosques,
Mhm.
the historical water village,
Yeah.
the incredible rainforests.
Beautiful.
It's this blend of tradition and modernity.
Yeah, it's really compelling.
That seems to be what makes it so special.
Absolutely.
What would you say is the key takeaway?
I think it offers a unique opportunity for
Okay.
cultural immersion
Mhm.
in a really tranquil setting.
Right.
It's a chance to see a society
Yeah.
that has integrated, their traditions with modern advancements,
Right.
but they've held on to their identity.
Right.
And the lack of mass tourism
Yeah.
allows for a more authentic experience.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive,
Right?
it's clear that Brunei is this fascinating nation.
Mm,
You've got the natural beauty with the rainforests,
Right.
the rich cultural heritage
right.
tied to Malay and Islamic traditions
Yeah.
and modern society, shaped by its unique history and resources.
Absolutely.
We've explored the mosques,
Yeah.
the significance of Kampong Ayer,
Mhm.
the biodiversity, the food,
Food.
the way tradition and modernity coexist.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's pretty remarkable.
It is.
And so I think a final thought
Okay.
for our listeners
Yeah.
is this, Brunei has this approach
Right.
to managing its natural wealth.
Mm-hmm.
They're preserving their culture,
Yeah.
they're modernizing.
Right.
So how might Brunei's example
Good question.
offer lessons for other nations who are
Yeah.
navigating, the 21st century,
It's a complex world.
especially in terms of sustainable development
Mm-hmm.
and keeping your cultural identity in a globalized world?
Yeah, that's something to think about,
It really is.
for sure.
So thank you so much for joining me
My pleasure.
on this deep dive into Brunei,
Yeah, this was
the
fun.
abode of peace.
I learned a lot.
We hope this is giving you a new understanding of this
Yeah.
fascinating nation.
Definitely.
So until our next deep dive,
All right.
keep exploring out there.
Here too.
All right.
Okay.
See ya.
Bye.